Hi, and welcome back to the program. It's really great to have you. I'm really excited to go through this quick Python refresher with you. In this video and in the next, we're going to look at variables and methods. So let's start with the most basic Python building block, the variable. In order to begin, the first thing I'm going to do is create a new file here in Atom, and then I'm going to save it inside the folder. And I'm going to save it as variables methods.py. Now the .py is important because it's going to mean that Atom will know this is a Python file, and then it can also make suggestions and give us some syntax, colors, and things like that. Now that we've got our file, let's begin. The most basic building block of Python is the variable. And a variable is just a box, essentially. A box that we can stick a name on, and then we can refer back to it from anywhere else in the file. For example, we can create a box and call it A, and then make it equal to, say, 5. What we're doing here is just creating a box with the name A and putting the value 5 into it. We can do other boxes like B, and we can even give it longer names like my variable is 56. Notice that the variable names can contain letters such as A, B, C. They can contain underscores, and they can also contain numbers like decimal numbers. For example, my 10 variable. Now, I don't really like using numbers in variable names because they're not very descriptive. It's just an amount, essentially. So I don't tend to use numbers in variable names, but nevertheless you can do that. You can not, however, put the number at the start. You cannot have a number at the start of your variable name. That's not allowed in Python, but you can have it at the end, you can have it in the middle, and so on. And also you cannot do things like using ampersands in variable names. Or indeed any other symbol. Those things are not allowed in Python. But apart from that, you can have any variable name you want. It can be as long as you want or as short as you want, obviously. It has to be at least 1 character long. Now, these 4 variables here are numbers, but we can also use things like strings. So I'm going to create another variable called string variable, and I'm going to make it equal to hello in this case. Notice that the word hello is just a set of characters. It's just a set of letters in this case. H, E, L, L, and O. Python does not know that this is a word. It only knows that this is 5 characters, and it knows that the first character is an H and so on. So it's important to remember that Python is not intelligent, and it does not know whether things are words, phrases, and so on. As well as strings with double quotes, we can also do single quote strings, like so. So these two are obviously different because one is hello, and the other one is strings can have single quotes. But there is no difference between using double quotes and using single quotes. So you can use them indistinctively, although I'd suggest that you stick to one in particular that you like more. If you prefer single quotes, then use single quotes throughout your entire program. If you prefer double quotes, use double quotes throughout your entire program. Finally, as an introduction to the next video, we can also do things like print these things out. So we can print my variable. And what this will do is it will just output the value of my variable to the console. So if we go to a console and navigate to the folder where you've got your code, your file, and then run it using the command we already know, Python, and then variables underscore methods.py, that's the name of my file, then we'll see that 56 comes out because that's the value of my variable. Notice that declaring variables and giving them a value does not cause anything to be printed out to the console. Only when we actually print do things come out. Of course, we can also print our string variables, and then they get printed out without the quotation marks. Just the content gets printed out. Now, the print method is, as I said, a method, And a method is just an action, it does something. Whereas defining a variable creates a piece of data, it creates this box and it gives it this value. The print command is a method and it does something. So what it does in this case is it accepts a variable, it accepts a value, and then it prints it out to the console, it puts it out in the console for the user to see. But methods are not limited to putting things out in the console, they can do many other things like adding things to a database, displaying a website, and many, many, many more things. As an aside, you can also print values directly, like hello world, or indeed print 1, 2, 3. So what the print method really is looking at is not at whether this is a variable or not, but at the value that that variable has. So in this case, when we print my variable, really what we're doing is print hello. When we print when we print my variable, really what we're doing is print 56. And when we print string variable, what we're doing is we're printing hello. So then we can also print a string directly. It doesn't have to be in a variable. And we can also print a number directly. It doesn't have to be in a variable. Okay, so that's it for variables. In the next video, let's look at methods. I'll see you there.